Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, give us 2 minutes and we're ready to get started.
Okay.
Okay. Wendell? Anyone on from WITN?
Yes, you can begin, Councilwoman Oliver.
Thank you so much. Okay. I'm ready to begin. Good afternoon. I'm Councilwoman Xanthia Oliver. I am the Chair of Public Works and Transportation. This is a Public Works Committee, March the 15th, which will begin at 5 p.m. First, I would like to ask the members of the Public Works and Transportation Committee to introduce themselves.
Loretta Walsh,
First
Council Member
District.
at Large.
Hi, I'm Nathan Field from the 8th District.
Next,
Hi, James Spittle at large.
Trippi Congo, President, City Council.
Loretta.
Loretta Walsh, Council at Large.
I thought I heard Councilman Gray on here. Is she on?
Yes. Linda Gray, First District.
Okay, thank you. Okay, with that being said, we're going to begin the meeting. We have ordinance 21009. An ordinance to authorize and approve the 2-year extension contract 21004 WD between the City of Wilmington and Diamond Machinery, Inc. for HVAC and related system inspection of maintenance. I will speak to this ordinance. This contract is for HVAC related work and departments of water plants. Diamond Machinery was awarded the contract through a competitive bid and have been performing at satisfactory level. This ordinance will allow the department to extend the contract for up to 2 years. Do we have anybody have any questions in regards to ordinance 21009?
I do, Madam Chair. I can't find my hand, but I'd like to know, does this contract include HVAC systems for the city county building also?
We have Mr. Vince on here from Public Works. Vince, could you answer that question, please?
Vince Croce, Deputy Commissioner, Department of Public Works. No, Council Member Gray, this does not include the city county building. That the HVAC system within this building is handled through our agreement with asset management. The agreement we're speaking about here now with between the City of Wilmington and Diamond Mechanical is solely for our water plants.
Thank you very much. That's all, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Do we have any more questions in reference to ordinance 21004? If not, I'd like to have a motion to move this out of committee.
So
And have-
moved.
We get a second?
Second.
Thank you. We have it moved in second. This ordinance 21009 will be on the agenda for April the 1st council meeting. Next, we have ordinance ordinance 21010. This ordinance is to authorize approval of 2 one-year extensions of contract 21005 WD between the City of Wilmington and ID Griffith Inc. for boiler inspections and maintenance services. I will speak towards this ordinance also. The contract is for the boiler inspection and maintenance at the Department of Water Plants. ID Griffiths was awarded the contract through competitive bid and have been performing at satisfactory level. This ordinance will allow the department to extend the contract for up to 2 years, 2-year, 1-year extension. Does anyone have any question in regards to ordinance 2101? Okay. We have anyone from the outside that have any questions in ordinance 2101?
Madam Chair, this is Daniel. I see Councilwoman Michelle Harley's hand is up.
Oh, thank you, Daniel. I'm sorry. Councilwoman Hardy?
Oh, yes, Madam Chair, I would just like to be acknowledged. I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. So noted, Councilwoman Hardy is in attendance of the Public Works and Transportation meeting. Do we have any other questions related to this ordinance? I see a hand raised. Was that Michelle's hand at the time? Okay, if not, I ask for a motion for this. I ask a motion for this ordinance to be moved out of committee.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. It has been moved in second for ordinance 2101 to be presented at the April 1st council meeting. Next, we have ordinance 21011.
Madam Chair. Madam Chair,
Yes,
question on that.
Yes.
Isn't the one we just moved, 21010?
yes, right. Ordinance 21010. Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks a lot. Okay, the next ordinance would be 21011. And I will speak to this ordinance. 21011, the ordinance is to authorize and approve a 1-year extension contract between 21007 WDPS between the City of Wilmington and Merritt Construction Engineer, Inc. for building raceway facility management. This contract is for building the raceway and facility management services at departments of water facility and was awarded through a request of a proposed RFP. Merritt Construction Engineers has been performing at satisfactory level. This ordinance will allow the department to extend the contract for 1-year extension. Do we have any questions in regards of ordinance 21011? Okay, if we don't have any questions from the council, do we have any questions from?
Madam Chair, I have my hand up.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Councilwoman Gregg.
I don't know what a raceway is. What are they building raceway? What is a raceway? I'm sure they're not talking about a horse raceway, are they?
No.
I'm going to take that.
Yes, please.
Okay, this is Vince Croce, Deputy Commissioner of Public Works. The raceway is how we convey raw water from our intakes above Dam 2 down to the Brandywine pumping station and the Brandywine filter plant. So the raceway, this contract entails raceway maintenance. So the raceway is a little over a mile long. When we have to have stonework or repairs done to it, that's one of the services that this company provides. They also provide facilities management and building maintenance for all of our various water facilities. So that's 2 water plants, multiple outside pump stations, and there's a professional services component with this where they essentially put together a maintenance plan and work with our supervisors to make sure that all the building maintenance, raceway maintenance, facilities maintenance is being kept up with among the water department.
Thank you. I think I remember Commissioner Williams discussing them now. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Is there any more questions in reference to ordinance 2111?
Council Chair,
Yes, Councilman Loretta Walsh.
I think an easier way of explaining that too, especially for members of the public. I believe the raceway is, if you're standing looking at the Brandywine, you see the little strip alongside the Brandywine of water running, but it's separate from the main river. That's what the raceway is. Am I correct, Deputy Commissioner?
That is correct. So
Okay.
yeah, it starts at the head gates up above Dam 2 and then runs along the Brandywine and then down as you get close to West Street, it crosses underneath South Park Drive and then is on your right-hand side running down to our screen house at Market Street. That's correct.
And is
Thank
this, if I may ask a follow-up question on this, isn't this going to be
Yes.
a very important part of the renewal of getting the fish back in that section of the Brandywine? Taking out the dam,
Well, that part, the dam part, so Dam 1 was that it was at West Street. We've already removed during a previous capital project. So yes, that was part of the getting the shad back up the creek. So now I've actually just talked to someone about that this morning. They've actually gotten some good fish counts up to Dam 2 now with the shad coming back and spawning. So there are other projects that are being worked on by other organizations, Brandywine Shad 2000, to find ways to either breach or find rock ramps and that type of thing, or fish ladders to get the shad back up so that they can go back up into follow the creek up into Pennsylvania, which was the native spawning ground back before all the dams were installed back in the late 1700s and early 1800s.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilman Walsh. Do we have any questions from council members, or if not, do we have any questions from anyone in the from any constituents? If not, I'd like to have a motion to have this moved.
So moved.
Moved. Second.
So it has been moved in second. Ordinance 21-011 will be on the agendas for April the 1st council meeting. Okay, next we have substitute ordinance 21-012, an ordinance to enact certain traffic and parking regulations. This is just a basic standard ordinance that covers the parking signs, loading signs, all one way to our parking, just various signs that are used throughout the city, such as parking, bus stop, etc. So this is just a basic normal procedure that we're enacting. Do you have any questions for substitute ordinance 21012? Do you have any questions from council members? Councilman Walsh,
I'm good, thank you.
do we have any questions from anyone from the public?
Myself and Councilmember Harley have our hands up.
I'm sorry, go ahead, I'm sorry, Councilman Sepulveda.
Sure. I'm just curious, the specific locations listed, how did these locations come about as needing stop signs? Was it from council members? Was it from Public Works?
No, I let Vince answer that. No, it's not council.
Actually, if Brooke was on the call, she was
Oh, Brooke
going to
is
be
on, I'm
prepared
sorry,
to
Brooke,
talk.
I'm sorry, Brooke is on the call. Brooke, could you answer that question, please? I'm sorry, Vince. Brooke? Is she on mute? I think she is on the call. Yes, she is. Is Brooke Santiago?
Hi, can you hear me on the
call?
line?
Yeah, now we can. Go ahead, Brooke. Could you answer that question, please?
Sure. So I'm looking at our synopsis, which goes over each regulation listed in this ordinance, and each location has been supported by a district council person. So usually they come from either a council person directly, or it may come from a community or community member or something similar to that. So I think that's the gist of, there's a lot of different regulations here, but that is the gist of where all of these locations have come from.
Okay, thank you.
If I may follow up, and sometime it could come from DelDOT with different various surveys. Are you okay with that, Councilman?
Yes.
Thank you. Any more questions from any council members?
Yes, Madam Chair. I was thinking that unless it's too numerous, maybe you could just mention where those locations are for the public.
Oh, sure, thank you. One location is West 10th Street, north of Washington Street. The second one is West 25th Street, north of Market Street. Next would be West 9th Street, north of Bancroft Parkway. Next would be South Clayton Street and Linden Street. Next would be West 29th Street and North Market Street. Next would be Delmarva Lane and Shipley Drive.
A follow-up, Madam Chair?
Yes.
Yes.
Madam.
Yes, so to Council Member Spadola's question, the ones that you mentioned for the 4th District, I definitely was involved in requesting them on behalf of organizations or constituents. You mentioned 10th Street, that's 10th and Washington. You mentioned one at the riverfront. And so a lot of times I like to hear which ones are being, where these changes are being made. And I believe most of the ones you mentioned in the 4th District are stop signs being
Correct.
installed. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Hardy, for that clarification.
You're welcome.
Is there any more questions from council members?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr. President.
You mentioned, I think, 25th and Washington and 29th.
No,
What was
it
it?
said West 25th Street and North Market Street. And
Okay.
10th, West 10th Street and North Washington Street.
So it was 25th and 25th and Market, and then 29th and Market.
No, it's West 25th Street and North Market Street. And one was West 29th Street and North Market Street, correct?
Okay. Do those locations already have stop signs and we're just, I thought that those locations already had stop signs, but maybe I'm mistaken.
Yeah.
Anyone speak to that from
Yes,
Public
that's
Works?
correct. This is Brooke Santiago, Public Works again. So we did make these always stops. So there were stops at all these intersections previously, and we are creating always stops. So we added an always stop for all directions at all of these locations, A through F. And there's also one additional stop sign, which was added to the substitute ordinance down below for Section 9, a stop sign at 20th and North Monroe Street. And that's just one stop sign.
Okay, but currently they're not, the 29th and 25th and Market Street locations, they're not always stop signs right now, but they will be?
Yeah, they should have already been installed at this
Okay,
time.
alright.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I just wasn't clear about that. I thought that they were already were, but this ordinance is just kind of cleaning that paperwork up.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, thank you, Madam Chair.
Sure, good question. Do we have any more questions from council members? If not, do we have any from the public? Okay, with that being said, can I get a motion to move this out of committee?
Madam Chair, I do
Yes.
have one more question, I'm sorry.
Sure, go ahead.
Does anyone from Public Works, I always thought that that Market Street was considered a state highway, Route 13. Is that correct?
That is correct. It's a state
That
main.
portion.
How were we able to mandate those stop signs on the state road?
The traffic control is under Public Works jurisdiction to install traffic control devices. So there are some instances, I think Washington Street, once you get past like 40th, where we are coordinating with DelDOT, but as far as signage and signals and stop controls, that would be the jurisdiction of the city.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Would that be all?
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you.
No problem. Do we have any more questions from council members? If not, do we have any questions from anyone from the public? Okay, seeing no hands from the public, it's possible. I think I failed to mention that these ordinances are going to be on the agenda for April the 1st, because ordinance, they need to be voted. They need to be voted on. I didn't mention that. Sorry about that. With that being said, may I receive a motion to move this, so we'll go to committee?
So moved.
Second.
So ordinance 21-012 has been moved out of committee to be placed on the agenda for April 1st council meeting.
Councilwoman Oliver,
Actually,
Yes.
we need to take a vote. There have been motions and seconds. If we can just go back and read off the ordinance number. We already have a motion and a second on all three, but just need to make sure the vote is unanimous.
Council Chair,
Okay. Was you going to Councilman Walsh?
I'll do the motion and do it correctly, because also this is a substitute ordinance. And so it wasn't being read correctly, isn't it?
Okay. Yes,
So I
ma'am.
make a
Substitute
motion-
order.
I make a motion to accept the substitute ordinance to ordinance number 21012 to be heard at the April 1st city council meeting.
Second.
So all
Thank
those
you.
in favor?
All those
Aye.
in favor?
Aye.
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 I think you have three. You only need three.
No. So the ayes have it. So we said motion carried. Now let's go back to ordinance 2109, so we can do that correctly. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes, motion carried.
Aye.
Ordinance 21010. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carried. Ordinance 21011. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Thank you so much. Okay, lastly, we have ordinance 21013. Who is here to speak and for that ordinance?
I am. Gwen
Councilman
Kaminsky.
Harper. Oh, I'm sorry.
beg your pardon.
I'm sorry. Thank you. Gwen?
Yes.
Okay.
Good evening. I'm
Go ahead, you
Gwyneth.
may speak.
Are we ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. I'm Gwyneth Kaminsky with the Planning Department, and I will address Ordinance 21-013, which will officially name the South Wilmington Wetlands Project to the Southbridge Wilmington Wetlands Park. Next slide, please. The proposed naming requires the recommendation of the City Planning Commission and approval of City Council in accordance with Section 2-3 of the City Code, which outlines procedures for officially naming streets, parks, playgrounds, and other public facilities. Section 2-3 also authorizes the Commission to establish naming guidelines, and these guidelines were prepared and adopted in 1992. Next slide, please. In November 2018, the City of Wilmington received a nearly $3 million grant from the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration to support the South Wilmington Wetlands Project. This image shows the park location in South Wilmington, south of A Street, between Walnut and Church Streets. Next slide, please. The purpose of the park, which began construction in spring 2019, was to create a stormwater management facility that reduces severe flooding in the Southbridge neighborhood and create a new community open space with a public trail system and plazas at its eastern and western edges. Next slide, please. This image from the Special Area Management Plan, or SAMP, illustrates the proximity of the historic Southbridge neighborhood to the central wetlands area. The wetlands and stormwater management concept was supported by the Southbridge community, which was actively involved in the development of the SAMP in 2006 in partnership with the city, DENREC, WILMAPCO, and the Wilmington Housing Authority. Recommendations for the Wetlands Park were included in the SAMP and later were adopted into the South Walnut Street Urban Renewal Plan and the South Wilmington Comprehensive Development Plan. Next slide, please. The project is located in one of the largest brownfield sites in the city, which has since been remediated with degraded wetlands restored to a high-functioning freshwater tidal wetland habitat, which will enhance coastal resiliency, improve soil and water quality, and restore habitat for a variety of fish and wetland and aquatic wildlife. The project also includes the separation of 36 acres of combined sewer overflow pipes into stormwater and sewer pipes, which will reduce flooding frequency and increase storm capacity. Next slide, please. In anticipation of the Wetlands Park, 15 parcels of land within the central area shown on this image were rezoned in 2016, including the 6 park parcels owned by the City of Wilmington, which were changed from M1 light manufacturing to O open space. Next slide. The proposed name for the wetlands park was evaluated in accordance with the naming guidelines adopted by the City Planning Commission. There are 6 guidelines which are applicable to this proposal, shown in green on the slide, and all of them are met. Namely, the guidelines confirm that the name reflects the location or physical setting of the area, provides a sense of place, and reflects the place that is important to the residents. Further, that the name does not duplicate names of other existing facilities and does not conflict with the location or type of facility being named, and that the meaning of the proposed name will be retained over time. In addition, the name has been reviewed and approved by other city departments. Next slide, please. The park naming proposal was considered by the Planning Commission in February of 2020. At that time, the Commission adopted Resolution 2-20, which recommends the Wetlands Park project be named Southbridge Wilmington Wetlands Park. In summary, the proposed name meets the applicable criteria contained in the naming guidelines and has been recommended by the Planning Commission. Once approved by City Council, the formal name will be entered onto the official city map and other related documents. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Would that be all?
Yes, ma'am.
Good job, Gwen. Do you have any questions from any council members in reference to ordinance 210-013? Okay, do we have any members from the public that would?
I see, Madam Chair, this is Daniel. I see Councilwoman Michelle Harley, who's the sponsor.
Thank you. Councilman Hardy?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair and Chief of Staff. Yeah, so as you said, Gwen did a very good job in explaining the project and how it came into being. She even went back to 2006 when the Southbridge community worked with the other organizations that were mentioned, different municipalities and government, etc., to come up with a number of initiatives to improve the quality of life in the Southbridge community. And so the Wetlands Project within itself obviously was one of those initiatives, and myself and the community is very excited about how that project is moving along, and they are anticipating the completion of the project back in 2020. Attending different civic association meetings, the community, when they learned that the name of the park was going to be called the South Wilmington Wetlands Park, there definitely was a conversation from the community that wanted to include the name Southbridge in the name of the Wetlands Park. So I just wanted it to be on record that the name change came from the community to include Southbridge, which I want to thank all those that are involved, the planning department, the administration, and the different departments within the city that supported the community. I'm wanting to include the name Southbridge in the name of the Wetlands Park. So I just wanted, again, to share that, because many times, the community, not the community, individuals feel at times that, civic associations, are not valid anymore, but they are very valid, very powerful as it relates to having a voice and that voice being heard by your elected official. So that's how I learned that the community wanted to include Southbridge. And I will mention, even at the meeting when we were discussing it, our former council president was there. And because she had been involved in the sand plan, she also collaborated with me in making sure and ensuring that this was completed. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Harley, for that history. I appreciate that. Next, I would like to acknowledge we have Councilwoman Sinead Darby in attendance. Okay, do we have any more questions from our council members? If not, do we have any comments or questions from the public? Okay, may I get a motion to move this out of committee?
So moved.
Second,
So it has been moved in second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carried. This will be on April the 1st council meeting calendar. Okay. Looks like everything is completed for the public safety transportation meeting for this evening. May I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So move.
Second.
Second, bye.
It has been moved in second, meeting adjourned.
Congratulations to the chair.
Very,
Thank you.
very well done. Very well done.
Thank you.
I'm getting there. Thank you so much. I appreciate everybody's help. Have a good evening.
All right. Bye.